When it comes to basketball, stats, records, advanced metrics have always been a part of the game, and even more so in 2024. And looking at recent history, we've seen some great records be broken just this season. Of course, the Pistons losing an NBA record 28 straight games.
Shot clock at 5. Killian, floater.
And of course, Draymond Green having the most technical fouls in a single weekend.
Anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation.
Green just plows right over Nurkic.
Of course, both those records are highly impressive. But when speaking about overrated records, there's none more overrated than LeBron's streak of 10-point games. As when it comes to ESPN, Twitter, Instagram, this so-called record is pushed every single year. And when it comes to ESPN pushing this record and just random nonsense stats, I've really gotten tired of it. I mean, on any given night, you'll see LeBron James, the first 39-year-old to wear a shooting sleeve with a receding hairline who scored 20 plus points. Of course, I'm being sarcastic, but these random stats by ESPN are pushed for one reason only, as to crown LeBron James as the greatest player in NBA history. And even worse than those awful stats that are so cherry-picked, so niche, is ESPN flat out lying about LeBron's streak of 10-point games.
The last time LeBron didn't score double digits was back in January 2007. None of the players who played in that game are in the league anymore.
I don't believe you.
I mean, if you're a casual NBA fan looking at this graphic, you think LeBron, of course, has most games ever with 10 plus points consecutive. And these graphics, they've been posted for really the last 4 years, and not once have been accurate, as the true record for the most 10-point games consecutive belongs to Michael Jeffrey Jordan. As back in the day, from 1986 to 02, Michael Jordan, in 1,040 straight games, scored 10 plus points. When it comes to Jordan's record, the actual record, it includes the NBA playoffs, which matter infinitely more than a regular season game. ESPN conveniently leaves that caveat out on every graphic and every segment about this record. And of course you guys know when it comes to NBA playoffs, the stakes in the postseason are raised infinitely higher. And as a superstar player, if you score under 10 points in a playoff game, that can be the difference between winning a title or falling flat on your face.
Get him, Kenny. Oh!
And looking at Michael Jordan in his playoff career, 179 games, he scored double digits. Let me check my notes. He scored 10 or more points in every single game. To nail that point home, Michael Jordan, from his first playoff game to his last, scored 10 or more points every single time. The only player ever who can say that. And looking solely at the NBA playoffs in double-digit streaks, of course, first is Jordan, second is Kobe, third Durant, fourth Karl Malone, and then LeBron at number 7. When you examine LeBron's streak versus Jordan's streak, including the NBA playoffs, which ESPN doesn't, LeBron's streak isn't nearly as impressive, as his playoff streak ended in Game 4 of the NBA Finals versus Dallas. As in this game, he shot a piss-poor 3 of 11, only had 8 points, and 0 in the fourth quarter, and the Heat, of course, lost by 3 points. That infamous 8-point dub by LeBron James cost his team a series and an NBA championship, as LeBron actually shows up in that game, scores, 12, 15 points, the Heat go up 3-1 the series, win the series. But instead LeBron James had 8 points, it got tied 2-2, and the Heat lost in 6 games. For some perspective, in Michael Jordan's finals career, the lowest scoring game he had was 22 points versus the Jazz in 1997. LeBron versus Dallas for 5 straight games, Game 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, had under 22 points every single game.
I think I can smell shite.
Just for 1 second, take that in. LeBron in 5 straight games had under 22 points. Michael Jordan not once had back-to-back games of less than 22 points in his finals career. And if you want to look at Jordan's entire playoff resume, which again is near 180 games, his worst scoring game was 15 points versus the Knicks in 1989. That was MJ's worst scoring game of of his playoff life. LeBron in his playoff career has scored 15 or less 15 different times. When people compare LeBron versus Jordan, who is the better scorer, the better player in the playoffs, stats like these prove Jordan was infinitely better. And of course LeBron James has the total stat record for most points in the playoffs. But if you look at in-depth scoring, averages, finals averages, great games, bad games, Michael Jordan every day of the week comes out on top. Now, doing ESPN's job for them, looking at the actual 10-point streak, which includes the playoffs, LeBron right now is at 745. And one more thing I do want to add in there, when it comes to the worst playoff games of their lives. Of course, LeBron in 2011 was awful. But actually in 2014, he had a worse game versus the Pacers in that year's East Finals, as in Game 5, scored a whopping 7 points in a 3-point loss.
Smell shite.
Now, going a little bit more in depth, if you're a hardcore NBA fan, care about the stats, the actual records, LeBron numerous times had some very iffy stat pad moments to get his 10 points and keep the record alive, most notably in 2021 versus the Atlanta Hawks. And LeBron in this game, in the second quarter, he had 7 points, got hurt, twisted his ankle really bad, but stayed in the game, got his 10 points, and immediately checked out, never to return. Now, 3 years prior to that in 2018 versus the Knicks, a kind of similar stat pad, as in Game 82, the last of the season LeBron James checked in for the first quarter, got his 10 points, shut it down, and didn't play again. Of course, kind of stat padding his way to the record and keeping that streak alive. When comparing Jordan versus LeBron, their overall mindset of stats, records, it couldn't be more different. As unlike Jordan, LeBron will go to extreme lengths to preserve his stats and get his numbers. As looking at Michael Jordan in 2002, when his streak was officially broken, it came versus the Pacers in a blowout loss. Now, Doug Collins in this game pulled Michael Jordan in the third quarter when he only had 6 points.
And we were down 25 at the end of the third quarter. And I took Michael out of the game, and I said, look, Michael, I know you think we can still win this game, but we got to play, in 2 nights. And if we make a little run, I'll put you back in the game. Well, we didn't. Well, I found out that after the game was over that he had 8 points in the game, and he broke a streak of like 860-something games in double figures. He said, you did the right thing tonight. You did the right thing tonight. I don't care about the points, but I needed to know that you believe in me.
You see, Michael Jordan right there, having 6 points late in the game, didn't beg, whine, complain to chase stats and chase that record. As the next night versus the Nets, went out, scored 51, and then followed it up with 45 in the following game. When it comes to the so-called 10-point record, it's been a pet peeve of mine for a long time. As ESPN, ABC, Bleacher Report, especially ESPN, lie about it constantly. And hopefully in this video, once and for all, I set the record straight that Michael Jordan has the actual record, which includes the playoffs, which LeBron's doesn't. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.